Hey, what's up guys? It's Navarro, head trader Penny Stocks Club 13. In this video I'm going to go over the watch list for Monday, January 10th, 2022. And before I do that guys, just quick disclaimer. This is not financial advice. I'm not telling you what to buy, what to sell. Anything you trade is at your own risk. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get to it. We're looking at the SPY here. And we're looking at the current pattern right now. So we've got this little ascending wedge going on right now. Now we've had 3 days of downward action. What can we expect? Or I'm gonna give you my honest opinion. This is what I think it's gonna happen, guys. I think there's more downside in the future, but before that, I think that what they're gonna try to do here is they're gonna try to kind of manipulate what's gonna happen. They're gonna try to get people to think that the dip was bought, and then they're gonna crush it. Now, what am I talking about? Well, we've got this little double bottom, right, that worked out, came back up, and I was expecting this move right here. I wanted to get some puts, but it was just trading sideways. Then we got some little bit of good news, came back up. It tested the upper trend line that we talked about, how it respects that upper trend line. It respects the trend line, the SPY always does. And then it just flushed, right? We got the Fed coming in with rate hikes and all of that. So that just sent the market downward. And right now it's at the 50 EMA, we held support. So here's what I'm thinking, guys. I'm thinking that this is what's next. So we got the 20 and the 9 EMA up here about to do a death cross, right? When the 9 crosses that 20 EMA, and then we get that continuation, that flush. But before it does that, I believe it's gonna come and test the 20, test the 9, right? Get something going like this, and then it's really gonna just come down hard. That's what I think it's gonna happen. It's yet to be seen, but I feel that that's where we're heading. So I think this little action here, this is what we're gonna get now. That's because I think that's how they're gonna manipulate it, right? People are gonna think, okay, that's it. Again, I don't know. This is just predicting. We gotta react to the market. That's the way we trade it. We don't want to predict it. We react to what it's doing. That's the way we've been trading. But I'm gonna show you why I think this is gonna happen, and this is a little bit of market symmetry. I talk about it often because it happens often, right? So we had that test of the upper trend line, came back down, broke below the 9, broke below the 20, did not bounce to the 50, but it did come back up. And look at that, tested the 20, tested the 9, and then it flushed down. So that's what I think is gonna happen again. It's gonna try to come up here and then just flush down. If we get good news, if something changes, if there's a for whatever reason there's just some slew of good news, then we can start getting bullish to the upside for that test or retest of that upper trend line. But you know, with the rate hikes and all of that, I think there's a little bit more to the downside. There has to be some more correction. We'll keep an eye on it, but that's my opinion on what I think the market has this coming week. All right guys, so let's go ahead and get into the watch list. This watch list, I'm gonna go over the small caps, the penny stocks, and then I'm gonna move over to the option side, the larger caps. But while I'm going through the stocks, I'm gonna throw in some educational information, because that's what this is about, right? It's about learning how to trade, why I pick some of these stocks, how to trade them, and if it works, how to take profits, and if it doesn't, how to cut losses, right? So that's what we want to do. We want to learn how to pick them, how to trade them, so that we can become successful at what we do, right? So we can be in this business for a long time. This is the way we prepare for the market. Or this is the way I prepare for the market. You can use some of these ideas to create your own trades. But let's get right to it. Let's start with the penny stocks. We're gonna go with ALJJ. So while I'm going through my watch list, guys, I have about 1,000 stocks, and it's really hard to be looking at 1,000 stocks at a time. So what I'm looking for is very easily identifiable patterns that are bullish in nature, because I'm a bullish trader. Yes, I do buy puts, but that's options, and I'm just trading the pattern as well. So that's a different option. Right now, what I'm saying is I'm bullish. So when I'm looking for patterns, I'm looking for a bullish pattern. I never look for bearish patterns. That's just the way my brain is programmed, and that's what I look for. Automatically, I'm looking at it and they pop. I'm going down the list 100 miles an hour, and if my eye catches something, I stop, I analyze. If there's the risk to reward is good, then you know what, it goes on the list, and I have a plan for it. If the plan comes true, I'm in. If it works, I take profits. If it doesn't, I cut losses. So in this case, the pattern is very easily identifiable. If you're looking at it right now and you don't know what it is, then you need to do a little bit more research and educate yourself on market patterns. Everything is on the educational videos on PSC 13 educational videos, guys, on the website. They're there for you so that you can understand how to trade this. So here we have a flag pattern. Let me get to this pattern right now. We have this pole, and then we have that flag pattern, right? So there's our flag pattern. Easily identifiable. We know what's going on. We know it's bullish in nature. How do we trade this? Well, we look for an entry point, right? We got resistance here. That's our right below the 190. So 190 would be your entry, right? Always give yourself a buy zone, a 5-10 cent buy zone. 185 to 195. That will be your entry, right? Anywhere there, you know that you're good to go. You can start building a position at 185, 190, 195, and then expect the continuation, the breakout. Now, how far can this go? How high can it go? Well, let's look at how this stock behaves. What kind of moves does it make, right? Now, one thing we can notice, or one thing we can do, is this is the 1 day, 1 year. We can go back and look at previous trading history. And what is this stock telling us? How does it trade? And has the behavior changed? Has its trading behavior changed? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at this huge gap up. Went up, it gapped up, right? It was going down, had a huge gap, got a 52-week high of $2.78, and then got slapped back down. On the same day, nonetheless, right? It just came back up, slapped back down. So in previous history, this is not something that you would want to buy and hold. You don't want to swing trade anything like this, because you see the pattern, it does not hold well. It doesn't hold any levels. It's kind of basically a pump and dump. So that happened there. Then we got the same thing, slap back down, got another move. This one was a 3-4 day run, which would be good for a little bit of a swing trade, a very short swing trade, but got slapped back down. Same thing here, right? So it's telling us that swing trades are very rare, that you don't want to do them. So that's fine. So we understand that this can be just a day trade, maybe a 1-2 day hold, and that's it, if anything. Now, how has the stock itself, how has this behavior changed right now? Well, let's go ahead and take that information where it doesn't hold any level, doesn't form any consistent pattern. Now let's look at what's going on right now. We got this 2-day run. Let's go ahead and zoom in. We got this 1-2 day run, and then we got sideways action. It's actually holding support. There's your behavior change in this stock. Now we have a pattern. We know how to trade flags. We want to see the breakout, right? So let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit. Go ahead and make this shorter. So we know the breakout. We know we want to enter around the 185, 190 level. So let's just go ahead and go with the 190 level here. So if we enter at the breakout, we want to see that extension, right? That's what we want to trade. So we're trading the pattern. The percentage and whatever happens, it doesn't matter. As long as we pick a target with 5%, 10%, that's great. You know, if you're winning 5 to 10% on the market, you're beating the market, right? That's on a daily basis. So right now, if we entered at 190 and exit at 250, guys, use this tool here. This kind of move will generate a 20-25% move, which is great. That's what you're looking for. Okay, so we want to see this with volume as well. So we see this two-day run. We got the flag pattern. Now if it fails, then we'll cut our losses, right? But we got this flag pattern. We know how it works. We want to see a breakout with volume so that we can get an extension a leg higher. But we see the behavior change in this stock, which is interesting to me, because look at how after it makes those moves, they slap it back down all the time. And now they just didn't slap it back down. It's holding support. It's just staying sideways, guys. That's the behavior change you want to see on a stock, and possibly a continuation, that extension, that breakout, right? That's what we want to see. Hopefully it works, guys. Now potential profit targets, you got to take this resistance into consideration. That would be your first profit take at $2.16, $2.15, $2.20. And then we've got the 52-week high of 278. Now this would be getting greedy, guys. I don't know, it might make that move, but again, now you're getting into that I don't have enough, I want more. And that's where greed starts becoming part of your behavior, and you're never going to be satisfied with what you have. You are always going to want more, and then your patterns are going to be failing. You're going to be locking in losses. You'll be cutting losses instead of taking in profits. So always make sure that you stick to your profit targets. Take profits, at least scale out. Take 3/4 off. If you have 1,000 shares, take 750 shares off, then leave the rest riding. That's what you want to do, because penny stocks like this, you don't want to be holding forever, guys. They can just all of a sudden drop. The bottom drops out of it, and your winning trade becomes a losing trade. So there you have it, guys. That's what I see in ALJJ, and that's what I'm expecting. So again, entry around the 190 level, that would be your confirmation entry, and a momentum, an explosion out of that breakout. Okay, so now let's go ahead and look at ABCT. So this one, again, an easily identifiable pattern if you know what you're looking for, right? You gotta get used to looking at the stock pattern, the daily pattern, the 1 year, 1 day, and quickly identify a pattern. Now, sometimes a pattern can be the entire year. Sometimes it can be recent action. And then if there's no pattern, then you start looking for support and resistance levels. If there's volume increase in the past 20, 30 days, stuff like that. There's different ways to go about it. In ABCT, if we look at the 1 year, 1 day pattern, guys, it's just a downtrend, right? It's just a complete downtrend. But what can this downtrend give us? What information can we take from it? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the 52-week high. Let's start from the top, from the left, and move our way back to the right. So that's the way you got to do it, right? So we got to look left so that we can know what's going to happen to the right. So made a 52-week high of $9.62, and from then on, it's just continued to be on a downtrend, getting slaughtered. Just literally went below $1. Okay, so within this movement, what happened? So it came below, got a little bit of support at the 50, got a little bit of support at the 50, got slapped back down. The 80 held support here, gapped over the 50 EMA. This is the 50 EMA, the blue line. Found support, right? So we know that the 50 is a little bit important here, has some importance in this stock. It's acting as support and it's acting as resistance. Then that 180 came in again, and then flushed right at that rejection of the 50 EMA, flushed. Traded sideways, tested the 50, flushed. All right, so we see that 50 is a very important level, right? The behavior right now is a downtrend. That's the way it's behaving. It's acting as resistance and it's getting slapped back down. Now all of a sudden we got this little attempt at a reversal. Broke below the 50 EMA, then gets slapped back down. Breaks over again. Now it's trading over the 50 EMA. We got support at 50. We got support at 50. We got support at 50. So now let's go ahead and look at this pattern here. So the 50 EMA used to be resistance. Now it's behaving as support. So there's your behavior change in this stock, right? Now it's starting to become interesting. Now there's a reversal pattern there where it used to be resistance. Now it's becoming support. And now it's gotta be intriguing to you and saying, okay, now this is interesting me. It's starting to reverse. Will it start an uptrend? That's yet to be known. But now we know that the 50 EMA is acting as support, and that's your behavior change. That's gotta be something that has to be in everybody's mind right now. Is that is this a reversal? Is it starting to move? It's gonna start an uptrend. Is the entire year gonna be a complete uptrend? It might be, we don't know, but we want to trade the pattern that we see right now, and that pattern is basically this 50 EMA becoming support. So what's going on around here, around this pattern right now? Well, let's go ahead and go to the 52-week low, and let's see if we can identify this higher lows as a trend line, right? So there's your trend line, guys. You got higher lows, you got this trend line acting as support, and then the 50 EMA helping it out with the 20 and the 9 as well, just breaking above the 50 EMA, the 9 breaking above, and now the 20 about to help that push become a bullish trend, right? So now let's go ahead and draw our upper trend line. We got this wedge pattern right now, this pennant pattern. So what we want to see is we did buy at the bottom of the trend line, which is good. We got a little bit of a push. Now we want to see the test and the break out of that upper trend line to move all the way up to the 180. Now, can it happen? I don't know. But if we don't get greedy and we want to get profits, we would want to take profits at this $3 level. Let me go ahead and get that price level, guys. So that $3 level would be your first take profit, right? And then you're gonna look for that 350, that $0.50. So this is your sell zone. Start scaling out here, start scaling out at 325, and then final take somewhere here. Now, what do we look for afterwards? If this is a reversal, we can trade the breakout. If you understand the market, let me go ahead and switch here. If you understand the market, it's gonna break out. If it does break out, this is what's gonna do. It's gonna probably have some resistance here, and then we want to see that little flagging pattern, right? We want to see that little flag. Then we want to see it break above and hold right above the 180 SMA, and then get that continuation going, right? So we trade from here, take profits, let it flag, enter again, come in and trade the continuation. Guys, that's just simply something that we can expect. It's not what's gonna happen, or it might be what's gonna happen, but we gotta be ready for this. And that's you know, how you put this information together, get historical data from every stock and put the pieces together, right? Put the entire picture together. What's going on? Why is it now trading like this? What is the 50 EMA, the 20 EMA, the 90 EMA, the 180 SMA, or whatever information is in that stock? What has changed? Why is it now reversing? You know, so you got to look into that. Is there news or is there anything like that? All of that goes into the picture, and that's how you start putting your trade plan together, and that's how you start developing your ideas. Now, keep in mind that patterns tend to fail. Once you're in the pattern, you can take profits. If it starts becoming, you know, not working, and you see that it's not gonna work, you want to take profits. Don't let it become a loser. But you know that it breaks down. Now, do you want to just let it go? You can set your alerts, guys. Sometimes you get those false breakdowns, and then it starts coming back up, and we'll talk about those in a second. But right now, we're in the pattern. We're not thinking negatively. We're thinking, okay, I already know where my stop loss is. I can move it up if it continues moving higher, and I will not let this become a loser. And then if it breaks out, you know, you get that trailing stop, or mentally you know your stop and you know where you're gonna exit. You're gonna take profits. If it goes down another 2-3%, you're out, no matter what it does. But again, we put the information together from the daily chart. That's how we create the plans, and then we enter on the lower time frames. So 1 day 1 minute, the 1 day 3 minute, a 1 day 5 minute. Now let's go ahead and go to the next one, Nxrp. Same type of pattern, guys. Huge moves. I like the ones that make huge moves, because that's you know, what we're looking for. Now this one is just an oversold pattern, and basically there's not much to it other than it's been trading sideways, and you see the repetitiveness here. Pop, right? So that's a pattern. Comes down, pops, comes down, pops, comes down, pops. You see the pattern, right? So there's your pattern. There's no particular triangle. There's no particular, whatever pattern flag or head and shoulders or stuff like that. This is basically the pattern. It's just drops and pops, drops and pops, drops and pops. Okay, so what are we looking for here? We're looking for the same thing. And right now, guys, it did close at $4.62, somewhere there. Actually, $4.67. But in aftermarkets trading, the level 2 is showing $4.99, $5 bid and ask, right? So that's a very important level because you can see how it's been acting as resistance, that $5 level. So if it opens up and takes off, then that's what we want to catch, right? That 20% move from 5 to 650. Okay, that would be a good move to catch. You got this 50 EMA that will act that resistance. Sometimes it breaks right above it and then it drops back down, but this would be your day trade because the pattern is it breaks out, slaps back down. So this would be a day trade opportunity, and I just want to show you different ways to trade different markets because there's always opportunity everywhere. You just need to look for it. So if I open up here level 2, guys, you're gonna see $4.99, $5.04, and that's the reason that I'm interested in this, because if it's gonna open higher, it's got a chance of just taking off. Again, how did this trade come about? Just simple market or stock behavior, right? How does this stock trade? Everything comes from that 1 year, 1 day. Next one, guys, now we're gonna move to the large cap for options, WMT. All right, guys, so WMT, larger cap, we don't need 20-30% moves. If it moves 1% with options, 1% could equal to 100%, 200%. It all depends on how the premiums are moving. So options are a powerful way to trade small movements in large caps. So what's the pattern here and why do I like this? Well, let's go ahead and get the trend line, guys. We're gonna go with current market activity. We can see this 1, 2, 3 levels here. We're gonna go ahead and even use this one. All right, there is your, let's just go ahead and go, sorry guys, here you go. There's your upper trend line, right, where it's being rejection, and what is below that level. Okay, let's go ahead and draw this right here. This would be your left shoulder, this would be the head, this would be your right shoulder. So this is an inverted head and shoulders pattern, guys. All right, so you got your left shoulder, head, and you got your right shoulder, and this right here, this slanted trend line, downward trend line, is your neckline. So if it breaks that 145 level, then we get a breakout, possibly to 148 where this previous rejection was. Then this move here, guys, can generate over 100% return, over 200% return. Again, I don't know. The premiums move are not static, they increase exponentially. So options are so powerful, it's hard to say how much you're gonna get. But if we trade based on the pattern in Walmart and we know how much it can move per day, then that move to 148 can give us very significant returns. So that's what we're looking at WMT. And I just want to clarify that head and shoulder patterns do not need to trade where you have a neckline at a particular price level like 151 like this, and then you got the pattern in this matter, right? They can be slanted. This is an inverted head and shoulders, right? This is an inverted head and shoulders as well, even though it's slanted. They do not need to be like this. They do not need to be perfect. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and move on. Clear the drawing set. Let's go ahead and go to UPS. Now, in this case, you should already know what to look at. We're looking at this pattern right here, right? So this one is more of a classic inverted head and shoulders, guys. So this one is your typical head and shoulders pattern. All right, so you got your inverted head and shoulders pattern, same as Walmart, and we're looking for the breakout over 220, possibly 225. into next week if it works. So again, patterns tend to fail, but you gotta trade what you see. This is the pattern. The more people see it, the better chances it has at breaking out. So that's UPS inverted pattern, and basically from the daily watch list. Now, if you look at the time it took for this pattern to develop, guys, from a red line, from the broken vertical red lines here, this is 1 month. From this to this, that's 2 months. That's 2.5 months for this pattern to form. The longer the pattern takes to form, the better, because it gives people more time to digest what's going on with this particular company, with this particular stock. So that's great. You know, the more it takes, the better. So let's see if this is gonna be one of those pops, those breakouts that are just gonna take off and give us those good 500% returns. Again, if we get 100, I'm happy. If I get 40%, I'm happy. I'm just saying sometimes we do want to trade those breakouts, and I do want to trade this breakout on UPS if it happens. Let's go ahead and move on to the last one, LCID. Guys, LCID is a very, very long-term cup and handle. We got a huge cup right here, and now that little handle forming. Now, is it gonna go tomorrow or not tomorrow, but will it go on Monday, on January 10th? It might. It does tend to do 2-day follow-ups, but I'm thinking, guys, let's go ahead and see how it's been trading recently, right? So let's go ahead and use some of the previous information here, where it has a huge day and then it kind of trades, comes down a little bit and then continues going. Same thing here, came up again and continues going, right? So this is the patterns that I like for swing trading. So what do I expect here? Well, it's got this false breakdown, you know, broke below the support. You got support, 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 support. It broke down, and this was basically just due to the overall market behavior. The SPY was down. This is when the Fed came out with a minute. So this is typically a false breakdown. Came back up and you got your 2-day run. I'm expecting that little curl in action, 1-2 day consolidation, and then that pop and go. But I do want to be ready for a Monday continuation. I don't want to be ready, and we still have time to enter. We want to enter at the break of this high, of Friday's high, if it's going to continue moving on Monday. If it does not continue moving on Monday, then we'll start looking for these levels here where there was previous supply, now becoming a demand zone, right? You want to see that little test, come back up, and we want to enter, and we want to scale into it, and then possibly get that huge move. Now, will it happen in 1 or 2 days? I don't know. Will it happen in 1 day? I don't know. But we have to be ready. LCID, I believe, has a very bullish outlook this coming year, because deliveries have barely started going. I believe there's going to be more demand for these vehicles. And if that's the case, then we want to be trading it at a good value. Right now, it's at a good value. It's at a fair value, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens with LCID, guys. So I hope this video helps you learn how I go about creating my plans, how I use information in the daily chart, and the way my thought process works as far as picking the best patterns and selecting the entries and the exits, so that I am prepared to take profits, prepared to cut losses. Because remember, a trade plan is not successful just because you took profits. When you do a trade plan includes your entry, your profit taking, and if it doesn't work, a stop loss. So there's 3 parts in a trade. And if you execute the trade, if the trade works out and you took profits at your profit target, that's a successful trade, and one that you would prefer over the alternative, right? The alternative on that trade is you have your entry and it triggers you out on your stop loss. That's still a successful trade, because your plan was, if it doesn't work, I'm going to get out, I'm going to cut it at this level. And you cut it, you cut your losses, you stuck to your plan. That's still a successful plan. So you have to take that into consideration the next time you're planning for a trade. That is it for me, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.